Yo, what's up, tutors? It's your boy Richard Kitchenmaster with SmartTutor.io. Check it out. We got a new setup. I wish I could take full credit, but a lot of this is my fiance. She kind of has that creative touch. I'm kind of like the action guy, and she is the very creative one. So if there's anything that you think is super creative about what I do, it's typically I have my fiance behind me helping me out with that. So let me know in the comments what you think of the new setup. I'm super pumped about it. I've always been fascinated about like LEDs and stuff like that. So I think it's super cool. So let me know in the comments what you think of the new setup, and let's just dive right in. In this video, I want to talk about a sales process, because most tutors, they kind of are going in blind. They don't have a sales process that they actually take someone through from start to finish, and I think that's a big problem, because if you don't have a sales process, then you don't have an organized and systematic way of actually starting from a lead, getting someone interested in something that you're offering or getting attention on your business, to actually taking them through, the nurturing process until you actually get a check in hand, right? And so, us tutors, if you want to have a competitive advantage in the marketplace, you have to have, things that give you an unfair advantage. And one of those things is a sales process, because most tutors don't have that. So I'm going to kind of do the generic one, and then I'm actually going to hop in to Smart Tutor and kind of show you how I have it set up. So in tutoring, this is the sales process that we use. So the very first thing is lead in. And you know what? Let's actually erase this real quick. Let's make this super big. We don't need a box. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna say we have lead in. Lead in. This is the first step, right? And lead in is basically a lead from anywhere, right? This could literally be a lead from a flyer. This could be a lead from your contact form on your website. This could be a lead from a Facebook ad. This could be a lead from an Instagram DM. It doesn't really matter. But the very first step is to get a lead into your business, right? This could be from, a free consultation. It could be to claim an assessment. It could be, just simply like a booked call, which is really like a free consultation. It could be from some form of lead magnet out there. It could really be from anything, right? So a lead comes into your business, and then what happens next? One of two things can happen. Either you reach out to that lead and they end up being in contact with you, right? They actually speak with you on the phone, or they don't. So what we have attempt contact, right? And what that is when you try to actually contact that lead on the phone, and they don't actually, answer their phone, right? So you attempted contact, but you don't have that first initial connection yet, right? Or what you have is what we call the follow-up hot leads. So follow-up hot leads. And what this is this is the section that I place leads when we've spoken to them on the phone. They're pretty interested in tutoring, right? Or they wouldn't have hopped on the phone with you, but they're not quite yet ready to pull the trigger, right? They need to talk to their spouse. They need to look at their finances. They have some objection, right? So they're interested, right? Because they reached out to you and you hopped on the phone, you spoke to them about your services. They're interested, but they're just not yet ready to pull the trigger. So what happens then is after this part of the sales process, assuming that we can push them and move them forward, the next one is scheduled tutoring. Right? Because now maybe you spoke on the phone and they said, hey, you know what? Let's schedule our first session, right? This doesn't necessarily mean check in hand. And that's why I leave scheduled tutoring its own kind of section, because there has been times where someone will schedule a tutor tutoring session and they bail or whatever, right? So you don't want to treat them like they're a paid customer yet, because you don't have a check in hand, right? But once they actually pay you, then they move over to basically customer, right? Tutoring purchased. Customer, right? So awesome. So now you just got yourself a customer. Cool. So this is our general sales process that I use in my business, and it works fairly well for me. Now let's actually hop into the Smart Tutor system, and I'll kind of show you what that pipeline actually looks. Now, you don't necessarily have to use Smart Tutor. I mean, you could really use any form of I guess any type of pipeline really. I recommend Smart Tutor just because it has all kinds of built-in automations and stuff already done for you. So you can literally just with one click drag and drop a customer, and it's going to automatically trigger follow-up sequences. So you could literally be trying to get in contact with them, following up with them hot leads. You can get the scheduled tutoring automations all set up literally within less than a second. You just drag and drop the person over. So let me show you what that looks like. So in here under, it's called opportunities, because these are going to be all the opportunities. You have lead in, right? You have attempted contact, follow-up hot leads, schedule for session, and tutoring purchase. And so how this works is, in this particular scenario, what happens is if someone reaches out through the lead form or reaches out through the chat widget or calls you, right? Calls the number that's associated with your Smart Tutor account. What happens is that person automatically is populated into the lead in, right? Automatically. So that's cool. So what'll happen is it'll say Susie is here, right? And then what happens is you try to call up Susie and they don't answer. Cool. What you do is you just literally drag and drop that person over to attempted contact, and that's automatically going to set off a sequence of text messages and emails trying to make that initial contact. So it'll say, hey Susie, we just tried reaching out to you to talk about tutoring. What's a good time to talk, right? And that'll automatically get sent to them. So you don't have to manage that, worry about that, or anything like that. And then, but let's say you actually do call them, or they get put on the attempted contact section, and they finally do contact you. Well, then if they're interested but not yet ready to buy, you just simply drag them over to follow up hot leads, right? And this is going to automatically start nurturing that warm lead. And at the very end of that sequence, it actually gives them an aggressive offer. And we say, hey, why don't you try out our tutoring for 4 hours for $99? It's kind of our ethical bribe to you to try to get you in, to show you that we're really good tutors, and then we can move forward after that, right? And that's all automated. And then here, schedule for session, boom. This will just basically send out like an email and text saying, hey, thank you so much for choosing us. We can't wait to see your child's success. Here's our address, here's our contact information. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out at any time. And then tutoring purchase, you just boom, move them here, and then boom, then you got check in hand. So you got a customer, which is always awesome. So this is the sales process we use. We highly recommend that every single tutor out there have a sales process. If you don't, then I urge you to sit down and sketch one out, use ours. Maybe you have to modify just a little bit for whatever works best for you. But what I've noticed, because we work with dozens of tutors, is that this sales process typically works across the board. So with that being said, guys, get a sales process in your business. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.